today's video is the truth about confidence, how to be more confident. The first thing is believing that you are loved by Yah. There's something about knowing that you are just loved just for being you. It doesn't matter how productive you were today. It doesn't matter what you did, how you want to people please. You know that you are just loved because what impacts us believing that we're loved by Yah? Number one, how we were spoken to by parents, guardians, close loved ones, friends. If you have this critiquing voice, this critical voice in your head, a lot of the times you're going to think about yourself through that lens. So we have to go to God and say, Father, please help me to navigate and understand what is your voice and what is the voice of others. What's my voice? How do you speak to me? What does your word say about me? What are the promises that I should be claiming over my life, over my children? Creating me a clean heart, creating me a new mind, because that's what it is. When we say creating me a clean heart, what we're saying is creating me a new mind. I want new desires. I want a new way of thinking. All right. So you are truly loved. When you know that you are properly loved, you value yourself. You have self-respect. There's a way that you view yourself. Before I move on to the next point, I want to mention something that I recently saw online. A lady called Lily Phillips. Some of you may have heard of her, a young lady. I think she's about 23. And it's crazy because her parents are actually supporting her in what she's doing, which is, sleeping with 100 men. She slept with 100 men, and then she was kind of crying about it afterwards. But then now she's kind of doubled down and said she wants to sleep with more. Now, when I saw this case, I said to myself, okay, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. And what I'm about to say here, well, what I've already said, my channel's not for children, so just be mindful if they're around. But when I saw her situation, I said, this is nothing new. I remembered something from like 20 years ago. It would have been at least 20 years ago when I saw this, at least. So it's probably more than then. When I was a young girl, I was watching a pornographic show. I can't remember if it was Eurotrash or whatever. It was a pornographic show. But basically, in this episode, I can't remember all of it, but there was a lady, I think it was a white lady with blonde hair. I can't properly remember her name. I'll have to research it and find out her name. But it was like a national thing. It was a national thing. It wasn't at someone's house, but all these men had come to do what you'd call I don't know if you can say it on YouTube, a bang. Yeah. But all of these men were there to do that to her. And I remember there was don't ask me why I was watching this. My mum must have been working late. There was a timer, not a timer, but there was I remember vaguely there being like a number thing to like note how many she had taken, how many, right? There was a number taking notes of it. And all of these men had come there to do this. So it was not a national thing like, oh, the whole of America's coming to see this, but it was a thing where they had set up it properly in public for them to come and do this with her. Anyway, that's besides the point. But one thing that I'll never forget from that is this. That lady, okay, yeah, she's being loose, letting all those men go inside of her. But one thing I'll never forget is I can't remember what number it was. But there was a young man. You could see he was a young man, probably in his 20s. Yeah. And I'll never forget. He had his turn with her. And he was like, oh, man, oh, I didn't even get to go down on her. That is what he said. Some men had already been inside of her. And he was mad because he didn't get to go down on her. And I remember that more than anything. Isn't it funny the things that we remember? These times you can't remember the nice episodes of Barney that you don't watched. You can't remember all the Hey Arthurs that you watched, but you remember that, hey? But the reason why that never left me is because as a young girl, I thought to myself, wow, like men have already been inside of her and you wanted to put your mouth down there? And the reason why I never forgot that, and when I thought of the Lily Phillips, I thought of that is because we talk about the women, yeah, they're loose, but also the men. It's like, bruv, the fact that you're even number one in that situation, okay, cool, but you're number two, you're number 50, bruv, you're number 70, you're number 99, like you're going in after 98 men. But this man, I can't remember what number it was, but he was mad that he didn't get to go down. And I was like, this is deep because it's The women involved and the men involved who do it, they don't get a badge of honor. Their self-esteem is just as low. So I say that to say, if that young man truly loved himself, do you think that if he truly valued himself, do you think he would have even been there in the first place? Much less sad that he didn't get to go down after a certain number of men have already put their things down there? Do you see? So when we see stuff like Lily Phillips and all these things, we can't really be surprised. You know what I mean? We can kind of be surprised, but at the same time, can we really? Because, this is nothing new. People have been doing debauchery for years. Even today, when we did devotion with the girls, we had to kind of explain in a roundabout way, because as we're going through the Bible, the Bible's not very PG-13. It's quite R, because the Bible is, I did another video today about authenticity. When it comes to authenticity, there's no other authentic book like the Bible. It will just tell you straight, yeah, the men came to visit Lot's house. Young and old men were outside. They wanted to have their way with them. And then Lot himself offered his virgin daughters and said, have your way with them. If Lot loved himself, would he have offered his daughters? Go back and read that story. Go back and read it. They were virgins, and Lot basically said to them, no, don't take the visitors. Do with them as you see fit in your eyes. Young and old men out there ready to basically rape these two men. They didn't know who they were. Do you see? If Lot had that love for himself, and you see, God is so merciful that he would have known. Do you think he would have known where Lot's mindset is? Do you think he would have known? But then he still sent angels to protect him. He still was. Do you see that love? So Lily Phillips, all these men who are going in who have no self-love and value, if they really knew, if they truly knew that they were loved and had value and self-respect for themselves, they would never do things like that. So we can't be surprised when you don't know that you're truly loved and valued. Who knows? And when you don't have a moral compass to guide you, who knows where you'll end up? Yeah. So I want you to think about that one. Number 2, sincerely and consistently trying your best in all that you do. Yeah. As the saying goes, competence builds confidence. And that is it. As you get better at doing things, the more you do videos, the more you talk to the screen and you feel comfortable and you can say, hey, and you can say hardy har. You know what I mean? The more that you do these things, you get better, right? So just remember that I always say to the girls, if you are sincerely trying your best every time, you can only improve. You can only get better. If you give all your thought and all your energy in what you're doing, you can only get better. A lot of times, especially with social media, we're looking at people's finished product. I have to remind myself of this as well. We're always looking at the end result, at people's finished product, but we don't always see the journey. The difference between you and them is that they chose to not give up. They didn't give up, and that is it. So we must remember this, that competence builds confidence. Yeah. When wow, I can see how my skills have improved in certain areas. I remember a few years ago, I had never even baked a cake. I mean, did I ever? I don't think so. It's only in the last year that I've been baking a simple cake, a simple sponge cake recipe that I got from my mum. And the more I do it, the more I see, oh, I've got better. And then I try different little baking recipes with the girls. Do you see? So if we do that and we do our best every time and we look at different recipes, you can only get better. So if you're not the best cook in the world, that's okay. You can learn. And as you get better at cooking, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel good because you'll remember when, man, I used to burn water, but now I'm doing cakes, I'm doing chicken, whatever it is, you're doing all these nice recipes and you'll be like, wow, look how far I've come. That gives you confidence, actually trying things, trying in the first place and trying your best. Number 3, accepting the fact that you won't be liked by everybody. I recently watched an interview with Candace Owens and Nick Cannon, and they did a few interviews together. But it was just really interesting watching Nick Cannon's attitude because obviously he's been cancelled, he's been cancelled before, right? And you can see where he's kind of scared of broaching certain topics or saying how he really feels about things because it's like, oh, I don't want to be cancelled. And he was trying to do a Piers Morgan on Candice and almost get her to apologize. And what about people's feelings? What about this? And I kind of understand where he's coming from in the sense that, yes, we should care about people's feelings. But at the end of the day, I've come to realize in life that you can say something in the most loving way it's going to land how it lands. You know what I mean? Someone could say something to me in the most loving way. If I'm going to take offense, I'm going to be offended. Do you see what I mean? Do you know how many times my husband has given me like constructive criticism and it got my back up because I felt like, oh, you're attacking me. These times he was just lovingly saying, hey, babe, you could do this better. But the monster comes out, you see. So that's why sometimes husbands, like when certain wives, you know, when their wives ask them certain things, they're like, ooh, do I be honest? Do I say it in a roundabout way? Because she might bite my head off. Do you see? So it's like, once I kind of started to work on, well, why is it that you're taking it as an attack? I was able to see more, hey, Charlotte, he just loves you. He's just saying something because he's looking out for you. He's saying this is how you could do something in a better way. Yeah. So just remember that no matter how you say things, it's going to land a certain way. But with Candace Owens, you can see, and you know, it took me a while to get into her. You know, obviously at first, in the height of Black Lives Matter, all of our emotions were twisted and we were just so caught up emotionally, a lot of us. So we couldn't see the sense in a lot of what she was saying. But over the years, as I've listened to her more and more, I'm like, I think I agree with her more than I disagree. There's a lot of points that she makes, and I'm like, nah, I get where she's coming from. And a lot more Black people over time have started to like, where we used to say before, oh, she's over there, Candace Owens or whatever, like they start to see a bit more where she's coming from. And it kind of goes without saying that I'm not going to agree with everything, but there's a lot that I do agree with. But she was just confidently stating her case, and I'll clip it to this video if I can, some of it. But she just recognizes that not everyone's going to like me. I'm loved by God, and I'm just going to do me. And it is what it is, you know. And that was part of the inspiration for this video. It really and truly was, you know, because we're all getting older in life. Every single person watching this video, right? We're all getting older. We're not getting younger. And life is long, but what makes it short is not living authentically, is not telling the truth, is not being real with yourself and those around you. That's what makes life short and frustrating and takes away your years. To be honest, I don't think life is as short as we really think. Because some days, especially as a stay-at-home mum, sometimes you look at the clock and you're like, man, this day's kind of long still. Just test it out. Anytime you're really looking forward to something, you know, the day takes long. But when you want the day to just be over and done with, you know, no, sorry, the day is short. But when you want something to be over and done with, the day is long. Yeah. So that is one thing we can definitely take from Candace Owens. She understands that she's truly loved by God. She understands that she's loved by her husband and her sincere friends and family in her life. And anybody else, whatever she says, it's going to land where it lands. And that is more of how I want to be. I remember years ago, like my mother-in-law said to me, oh yeah, you admire Simon Cowell because that's how you want to be. I remember because Simon Cowell, he's kind of softened over the years. I think at one point, maybe he was a bit.
It says here you work as a wedding singer.
I was.
How many ended in divorce? If I were you, I'd phone up the War Department, volunteer your services, because you've just invented a new form of torture. I'll give you a tip for future auditions. Don't. I don't mean to be unkind, but you have one of the worst singing voices possibly in Miami. I don't want to be rude, but you could be the worst singer in New York. Don't take this personally, but...
Oh, please.
No, I mean it. You're one of the worst singers I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, awful.
It's bizarre.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's a no?
No.
No.
Thank you for seeing us anyway.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
It looked like the before, during, and after of Weight Watchers.
You're the one I be seeing in my dreams. You want to hear the chorus?
No, I couldn't hear anymore.
Okay. Best singer in America.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I can honestly say you are the worst singer in America.
But Simon Cowell, you would have seen him in X Factor and Britain's Got Talent and all of these things. He used to be really straightforward with people, you know, and be like, you can't sing, you sound like a monkey or whatever offensive thing he would say back in the day. But over the time, he's softened. But the reality is, he just said what we were thinking. And this is the thing that people don't realize. People wouldn't have a certain following if people didn't agree with them. It's just that we feel scared to say it because we're like, oh, if I say it, do you see what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's something important to remember. And that's something that I've learned from my husband as well, because he's way more straightforward than me. And sometimes I've had to be like, babe, have some tact. But then sometimes he's had to be like, babe, have some backbone, you know, because at the end of the day, you are who you are. Your views are your views. And just how I spoke about season changing in another video and hobbies changing, we are all changing. There's certain things we maybe used to agree with that we don't agree with anymore. There's certain things that you do agree with, that you didn't agree with before, that you do agree with now. You're changing, and the more that you are yourself, whoever should be in your life will be there. Yeah. So this is the key. This is the key to confidence. The more it's about honesty. It's about the competence, as I said, doing something and doing your best. That all stems from honesty, integrity. That's what will give you the confidence. When you can lay your head on your pillow and you know, I've been honest. Like, I've not just brought someone on my platform so that they can say what I truly want to say. You know, if they say it, then I don't have to take the bullets, you know? No, when you know, I've said it, family, I've said it, friends, and this is it. This is me. This is me now. I'm sorry. I like that J-Lo song. I mentioned it in another video before. I like it. I have to be honest. I like it. J-Lo, she's going through her problems now, but you know, I like that tune. All right. Anyway, ladies, before I ramble on too much, thank you for watching. I hope you like the new setting of me sitting down. It is nice sitting on the settee, you know. This mama needs to sit down. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check out the other videos. I hope you have a really lovely day ahead as well. All right then, ladies. Bye.
You should respect people. I always respect people. I would disrespect you if I lied to you. I'm not going to call a man a woman. I'm not going to call a woman a man. I'm not going to say sorry for telling the
your
truth.
Beliefs.
It's not my belief. A woman cannot be a man, and a man cannot be a woman. It's not a belief.
But I'm saying in your perception of the world is different from someone else's perspective, because just as emphatic as you are, that you believe what you just said, there's someone that believes emphatically the opposite.
Okay, so what you're talking about is the idea that everything can be subjective and there's no such thing as truth. And let me tell you why that. But that's why it's either a yes or a no.
No, because we're either talking about feelings or facts.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I believe there is objective truth. Okay.
Okay.
A person that is born a man, okay, a person that is born with a penis, as we call it, okay, cannot ever grow up and give birth. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so there is such thing as an objective truth. I will not apologize for sharing objective truth. I'm not going to apologize for not saying because his feelings are hurt and do you see how I feel? Because
so you have no problem going throughout the world hurting people's feelings.
I have no problem going out the world. That's one way to pitch it. Telling people the truth so they can better their lives. So they can live in reality and not the one, not the fantasy land that they're creating for their lives. But what if someone
believes that is a better life for them?
Okay, well, let's play it your way then. Let's do it the other way. There are a group of people who are now referring to themselves as minor attracted people.
Oh, can't go there.
Hey, but that's what they believe. They believe that they are in love and want to have sex with children. They believe that, Nick. They believe it. And are you going to apologize when you call them pedophiles? Are you going to apologize, Nick? Are you going to have them on your podcast? Don't you understand how they feel on the inside when you say that they can't have sex with 8-year-olds?
That is a hell of a point.
It is. The slippery slope is not a fallacy. It is reality. We are living the slippery slope. So somebody's going to have to produce the wall. So there's going to be a lot of voices that need to be objective and tell people the truth. I'm very happy to be those voices. If you're looking for me to, make you feel good, I can't be your mommy. I can't. That's why I tell people, I can't be your mommy.
But see, that's what I say.
I'm not your mommy. You're not a toddler. You're an adult.
But see,
this is what truth is. And if you can't deal with truth, then you're going to have a very tough life, way tougher than having to listen to Candace Owens say, you are a man on the internet. You cannot feel compassion for lies, especially because they have become what they're doing now is they're wielding compassion as a sword to pass through everything that they want done. And like I said, you were going to blink and compassion is going to end up with minor attracted peoples. Compassion is going to mean we can no longer call them pedophiles. That is what is going to happen. It is what is happening.
Can't let that happen.
We are barreling toward that. We are barreling toward that. It's so obvious because people they would rather tell a lie than risk offending someone.